I just need someone to put cookie dough in my mouth right now. Alright, so today I'm going to be testing out 2 different brush sets I got off of Amazon. Both of these sets retail for under 12 bucks, which is amazeballs. Amazon prices always fluctuate, but right now both of them are under 12 bucks, which means each brush in this set is under $1. So I'm doing a full face look, testing out these brush sets, seeing if they're worth it, seeing if one is better than the other. I'm actually pretty impressed that I got all of these in my hand right now. Brushes are something to me that can definitely be worth the investment, and I know beauty people on the internet always say that, but it is true. I have Sigma brushes that I've had for 6 years now that are still going strong. At the same time, I have e.l.f. brushes that I've also had for years, and those are a few bucks. I'm gonna leave my kind of go-to makeup brushes also listed down below so you can see what I usually use, but we're gonna be putting these guys to the test. So if you're excited for this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Let's jump into it. Okay. Clip back the hair. Guys, I've only had half a cup of coffee today. I need to get going. Clearly breaking out pretty bad down here. I started using aloe vera because that's supposed to help with acne, but I think it's been breaking me out. Did I prime my face? No. I'm actually going to use a different primer than usual. This is the No. 7 Airbrush Away Primer. I think I used it in a video and I liked it. It has kind of like a lotion feel when it goes on, but then it just absorbs into your skin and gives you the feel of like a silicone primer almost. Here are my 2 Amazon brush sets. I'm going to undo these, but they both come in very secure packaging. So this one is the Emac Design 12-piece brush set. It retails for $10.99. So that's amazing. That's less than $1 for each brush. Whoa, these are very, very small handles. This set I think I chose because the kabukis on here looked promising. It looked like there were some nice powder brushes and just overall like face brushes. And then I think this next set I chose because there was more kind of precision eye brushes, things like that. So in this next set, you actually get a pretty nice case with it too. If you don't have anywhere to store your makeup brushes, you could just keep them in here for traveling. This one retails for $16, free same-day shipping, but you get 18 pieces. So again, less than $1 a brush. Both of these are synthetic brush hairs. If you are going to be ordering brushes on like eBay or Amazon, definitely stay away from like the goat hairs. Those are typically more scratchy. All right, all of them are undone. My first thoughts is that both of these feel very soft. Bristles on both feel super soft. These ones feel a little bit heavier, a little bit nicer quality. These feel a little bit light and kind of cheap plasticky. Since this is a first impression, obviously we're not gonna be able to see how the brush is washed, how the glue holds up. A lot of times with cheaper brushes, you can have the handles breaking off and things like that. So for foundation, I think I'm gonna use the It Cosmetics CC Cream. I usually like the illumination one, but I'm completely out of it, so I'm using this guy up. This is in the shade Fair, and I usually have to mix this one. I've been getting a little bit of color, so I don't know, this might match. But I know how this one performs, and this one I can typically apply with different kind of foundation brushes. We're just gonna call this one the Gold Set, and we'll call this the Wood Set. As far as the Gold Set, I'm thinking this is what they want you to apply your foundation with. I hate these kind of brushes for applying foundation. You're basically just like painting it on and kind of smearing it around, doesn't actually blend it in. In this set, it doesn't really look like there's a solid foundation brush. These are all very flimsy and these look more like powder, like blush brushes to me. So in the Wood Set, you do have a few options. You have 2 kabukis here. This is like a mini sized one. One of these almost looks like it could be used for like face. Ooh, this feels nice. The smaller one feels a little bit more flimsy, so I'm gonna hold off on this one for foundation. I usually like a more firm foundation brush. That's when I get the best coverage. You also have this like domed kabuki brush, which could be really nice for powder. Ooh, I don't know, this also feels like it could work. They look like they're gonna be flimsier than they are. It actually has some nice firmness to it. This brush I'm really excited about for like blush and bronzer. Ooh, that looks like it'll be really nice. I think I'm gonna go in with this longer handled brush for foundation. I'm gonna use this to apply it to my face because why not? It's here. I'm probably gonna have to do some spot concealing today since my acne is out to party. I'm gonna tap a little bit more on the brush just to kind of coat it because that's what I usually do. I usually like to pat in my foundation versus full on blend, but if you're a blender, I could see this working really well because it does have some nice like bend to it. I don't know why I'm like doing half my face right now. I feel like it's a foundation Friday. Yeah, if you tried to do this brush with your whole face, you just would have to go in with your hands or something to blend. This is the first day in like 3 days that I'm out of bed functioning. So it feels good to be alive today, filming. So that worked totally good to blend out foundation. I'm all out of my Maybelline Instant Age Rewind, so to spot conceal, I'm just gonna use NARS Vanilla. What brush do I wanna use for this? This looks like a really nice concealer brush. Also, you could use this to like carve out your brows or to apply shadow to your lid. Instead, it looks like there's also a concealer brush, but this one is a bit bigger. I'm gonna use this one for the face concealer and then we can use this for my brows. But you could definitely get away with either one for both of those things. For under eye concealer, I actually want to try out a new concealer. This is the NARS Soft Matte Complete Concealer in the shade Vanilla. This is their new pot concealer. I've only tried this one time, like no makeup on, just playing around with it right when I got it in the mail. I haven't put this on over foundation or anything yet, so I'm not really sure what I think of it yet. It looks like there's a nice concealer brush in here, kind of similar to my Morphe G38, except it's a little bit longer and a tiny bit more domed, but I think it has the firmness that might work for under eye concealer. Okay, I'm gonna use that brush to blend. It doesn't look like complete full coverage to me. On camera on the viewfinder it is. That actually brightened up a lot. I feel like it's not quite as full coverage as Tarte Shape Tape or my BH Cosmetics concealer. I'm gonna go ahead and just dip it straight into the pot and apply that to the lid. When I hit it with a certain angle, it's a little bit scratchy. I'm kind of scared to set my under eyes right now because you guys know I have weird issues with under eye setting powder. I have to use a super specific brush and powder. I have two powders that I use, the Physicians Formula translucent correcting powder or Stargazer powder, and I use a really compact e.l.f. brush that's kind of made for foundation. That is the only way that my powder doesn't take away the coverage of my concealer. So I'm thinking I'm gonna find like the stiffest kind of brush I can for that. This one is very flimsy. I think the overall theme of this gold brush set is it's soft but super flimsy, which can be nice for certain things. These ones definitely have a bit more girth to them. Ooh, I love that word. I think I might have to use this Kabuki because there's not really another option in this set. This one I want to use for blush bronzer. Let's just pray to the concealer gods right now. My concealer has definitely looked worse. Wouldn't be my go-to brush for under eye concealer, but it worked. Since It Cosmetics CC Cream is very dewy, luminous, and creamy, I always like to set it unless I'm not wearing any other makeup. So I'm gonna set my face with the Laura Geller Balance and Brighten Powder Porcelain. I'm really excited to use one of these brushes for powder. I think I'm gonna use the other Kabuki in the Emax set. This one feels really nice. You could use this for foundation too, probably. I also like to kind of pat in my powders. Ooh, I forgot how much I love the CC cream. All right, I like that one for powder. I also think this could work as like an overall big bronzer brush. For eyebrows, I'm gonna use my MAC Fluidline, and it looks like there are eyebrow brushes in both sets. I have an angled brush in each set. This gold one, again, is a bit more flimsy, and there's like powder flying out of it. The wood one definitely feels more firm. I'm gonna go in with this one. My brows badly need to be tamed right now. I just realized I didn't comb through them. Oh, you have a little brow thing in each set. These actually look, these are identical. Actually haven't used one of these in years. I feel like I can't get quite as much precision as I want with this. It's a little bit big. In the gold set, there's actually this super firm kind of oval shaped brush that I'm gonna use for the tail end of my brows. Oh, not as firm as expected. All right, just kidding, going back in with this. If you need a brow brush, I probably wouldn't go with either of these ones. They're just a bit too big and flimsy. My brows are a little too large and in charge right now, so I'm gonna carve them out with It Cosmetics Bye Bye Under Eye Illumination. I hate this for under the eyes, it's super thick, but for carving out brows, it's awesome because it's super full coverage and thick. So I'm gonna try out the Emax brush that looks like it will be great for carving out brows. Let's move on to bronzer. I'm gonna try out the Cover FX Sunkissed bronzer because I just found this in the bottom of my drawer. Was that really hard to say? I am kind of jazzed about this brush. I also want to give this gold set a try. This one, since it's super flimsy, looks like it could be nice as like an all-over bronzing powder. I usually like to do more concentrated. Ooh, I can already tell this is way too flimsy. Ooh, it just like kicks up all the powder. Ooh, brushes like this kind of make me cringe. This brush that I keep talking about, I feel like it's actually pretty multi-purpose. I'm gonna try this as bronzer. You could also use this as blush. Yeah, that one's much more up my alley. For a contour shade, I'm gonna use MAC Taupe Blush. We have a couple options in the gold brush set. This one I think might be nice. Let's try this one. This one I'm liking because it has the right shape to contour with, but it blends. This brush that I use for bronzer, you could also just kind of pinch and use as a contour. So I like this brush, I would use that again. I've been kind of into contouring just like the tip of my nose lately. I feel like it adds some nice shape in there. Which brush do I want to use for that? There's kind of like an angled shadow brush that could work. That one looks a bit big. Oh, there's also an angled brush in the wood set. Oh, this one is just so soft and nice. I think you can tell which set is pulling ahead so far. And I basically just like to follow the, ooh, that's intense, tip of my nose shape kind of. Blush I'm going to use Physicians Formula Butter Blush. This is actually one of their new shades. This is the shade Rosy Pink. I love the formula of these blushes, so I'm super happy that they came out with more shades. I'm going to use that same brush that I used for bronzer because I think this will be really nice for blush too. I just like the shape of this because it's small enough to get where you want it to, but then it also blends, and I just got way too much. Yeah, I'm into this brush. I am so excited to put this thing on my face. This is the Cargo HD Picture Perfect Highlighter in Bronze, which sounds like it's gonna be a disaster, but I got this in the FabFitFun unboxing, which I'll put over here, and I put it on in that video and it was stunning, so I'm gonna try this out again. So in the wood brush set, you don't get a fan brush. In this set, you get this fan brush, and then you also get this giant ass fan brush. I think I'm gonna use this smaller one. Ooh, like look at that shade. This gives you that like wet look. This is so pretty. Okay, this brush is like kicking up the powder everywhere. There's really not a highlight brush in the wood brush set. You could use this one again. Let's try the bigger one for this side and just see. It's so large, like covers my whole face. Ooh, that looks nice though. That one gave almost like a little bit more of a natural effect. This brush you get a bit more deposited kind of color. This one just looks overall more blended and kind of natural. Do the tip of my nose. You need this in your life. This brush apparently I really like because I just keep putting it all over my face, but I feel like it just helps to really blend everything together. To prime my eyes, I'm gonna use the Soft Ochre Paint Pot, and I think I'm just gonna use that same brush that I used to carve out my concealer with. Typically I just use my finger to blend this out because it's just quicker and easier. For eyes, I'm going to be doing a very boring, very basic, natural look, which I guess is good because I never really do those on my channel. I don't even know what my eye looks are. I literally just do whatever comes to my mind. But I'm going to use the BH Shin XO palette because there are just some really good neutral basic shades in here. I have to go run a bunch of errands, so I don't want super intense makeup. So in the gold brush set, you have a lot of kind of smaller precision brushes, which could be really good for the lower lash line or for doing like liquid eyeliner and things like that, but you don't really have any good blending brushes. Besides this one, this looks like a nice crease brush or even like outer V, but don't worry, wood brush set is coming through again. We have this nice blending brush. Thank you. What did I use this for? Oh, the contour. There's also this angled brush. I'm gonna start out with this orangey shade right here, and I'm just gonna put that into the crease. This shade reminds me of like an Orange Julius. Did you guys ever drink those as a kid? Do they still have Orange Julius? So this is working fine. Not totally loving it, but not hating it. Definitely gonna use this one, but I wanna use this bigger blending brush just to add a little bit more depth with this red brown shade. So I think this brush works fine. You just have to kind of spend a bit more time than usual working with it. It's almost a bit too flimsy where it like bends over on itself, if that makes sense. It's just a bit too long, I think, not flimsy. In the wood brush set, you basically just have like a lid kind of brush, and then you have this little brush which could be for the lower lash line. You don't really have any kind of in-between eyeshadow brush like this one where you can get in the crease or anything. And go back in with that same exact shade, the red one. This is just gonna deposit more color, hopefully. It's crazy how with different brushes you can make the same shade of eyeshadow look totally different. This one is nice, doesn't feel scratchy or anything on the eyes. It's blending out fine. So this one's a win. I'm gonna go back in with the blending brush. A few options for the lid shade. I think I'm gonna go in with this one from the gold set. And I think I'm gonna wet my brush. Where's my setting spray? I'm gonna go in with this light shimmery shade right in the middle. This one is really pretty on its own, but just to give it an extra pop, I'm gonna wet the brush. You can use water for this too. Also bringing that into the inner corner. I feel like this is not the brush's fault, but just in general, I get way better pigmentation with my finger for the lid shade, so I'm just gonna add a little bit to the lid with my finger. So now for the lower lash line. I think in both brush sets, there are brushes that could work for the lower lash line depending on the look you're going for. Just for blending color out there, I think the wood set definitely has a better option. It's just a pointed blender, but this one is very, very stiff feeling, I'm just noticing. Like you could almost use this for like smudging out eyeliner. Whoa, yeah, this is stiff, but let's try it. So I'm gonna go with that first orange shade. Whoa, very, very stiff. You almost can't blend with this. It's like blending a stick on your eye. Not a fan of that one. Don't know what they were going for there. I'm actually gonna use the same brush that I used for that red shade in the crease. Probably have some color left over on here, so I'm just gonna blend that down. There's a flat kind of liner brush in the gold set. So I'm gonna go in with this deep brown shade. Just blend that on like the outer third, I think. I'm gonna put eyeliner on the top so it'll even everything out. I'm just gonna kind of stamp that on there and then blend it out with that other brush because you can't really blend with this one too. In both of these sets, they're missing a really good lower lash line blending brush because this one's too big, the other ones are too firm. So that is something that I think you would need to purchase outside of the sets. I want to do eyeliner. I don't know, I almost just want to do mascara. First I'm going to set my face just using Urban Decay All Nighter all over. Gotta love a good setting spray sesh. For top mascara, I'm just gonna layer Too Faced Bare Than Sex with Catrice Glam and Doll. I love this combo. And then for the bottom, Wet n Wild Mega Length. What's new? I think I'm just gonna do the mascara. I don't really wanna do eyeliner today. For lips, I got this in my Sephora birthday thing. It's the Tarteist Lip Paint in the shade Birthday Suit. And I wore this yesterday and it's a really nice, deeper kind of nude shade on my skin tone at least. And I freaking love the smell of these. Like a hint of mint. That rhymed. Can't see my lips. And then just to lighten it a little bit, I'm gonna use Sephora 32 over top. These Tarte ones take a while to dry, so they're easy to mix with things. All right, so I think I have everything on my face that I wanted to put on. I think overall, if you were only gonna buy one set, I would go with the wood one, the Emax design set. These are really nice. They're super soft. I do think that there are definitely brushes that are missing in here. I don't think this will be like a full, complete brush set, but I think this could be a really nice starter kit. If you need more face brushes in your collection, I think the Kabuki brushes in here are really nice. Definitely gonna keep using this one for powder. I really like this. And also this brush. Blush I use for bronzer and blush I really like too. I'm going to keep using this one. I think this foundation brush works totally great. It's just personal preference. I like a little bit more firmness in my foundation brushes. I feel like I get better coverage. These also have short handles, which can be, you know, depending on what you like, good or bad. Good to travel with because they're smaller, but for everyday brushes, it might get kind of annoying for some people. I wish they had a couple more options for eye brushes in here because then it would be a total complete set. I think the main thing that this set is lacking is a crease brush and a lower lash line brush. If you have those two brushes, I think the rest of these brushes could work. Also a highlight brush. There's not a good highlight brush in here. Gold set on the other hand, I feel like has nice options for those things, but those are the only things in this set I really like. The highlight brushes in here work great. You have the nice crease brush in here. I would totally use this brush again for contour. I really like how it blended out my contour. The quality in these I can tell is a little bit more cheap. You can like see certain brushes like peeling off the glue. I already see, yeah. Did you guys hear that? Like I can break this one off. Probably won't hold up as well, but you never know. I don't think it's worth it to solely get this brush set just for those two brushes. I almost would go with a wood brush set and then just invest in a couple brushes. This feels a little bit too cheap and flimsy to me. I like that this brush set doesn't feel cheap. Like it feels very sturdy. It feels nice to hold and it's nice. These are nice. I like them. I also wanted to say I didn't notice either brush set. I need a stress ball right now. Brush set. Haven't noticed either brush set shedding. There we go. Yet. I can see a couple loose hairs on this guy, but they're not like coming out. Same on this set. I didn't find any hairs on my face, so that's promising. Keep in mind that even though these are initially cheaper than a lot of other options, I don't know how they're gonna wear yet. I don't know if the handles are gonna come off. So both sets will be linked down below along with everything else on my face if you wanna check anything out. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and found it helpful. If you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're new here, you can join the Bayrito family and subscribe. I upload Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 6 p.m. Pacific time. All of my socials will be, is it on this side? Yeah. Love you guys. Thanks for watching. I feel like I have to take up. See you in my next video. Bye. Woo! Those brushes are kind of heavy. That was a bit of a workout.